Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Ryan here with RPK Customs. You guys are going to have to bear with me a little bit. I have not made a video in probably about 2 years, so I'm a little rusty. But at any rate, I was about to post this Saber up for sale, and I wanted to make a video just kind of going over some of the modifications I've done, some of the extra parts that I've made for this thing. So, yeah, with that said, let's get into it. Now, this is the Anakin Starkiller, Danny Hallowak's uh, collaboration DS2 V2. So this is a very, very nice kit. But once I took it out of the box, assembled everything, I realized that it was pretty light. And obviously that's for, install purposes if you choose to go that route. Myself, I personally like my screen accurate replicas to be just static replicas. And I like those static replicas to have a little bit of weight behind them just to make them feel more, I don't know, authentic, I guess, in hand. So my main goal with this was immediately I wanted to add some weight. So I wanted to machine a core for the inside, some kind of core for the inside that would, add that weight. But I didn't want to just make a solid aluminum or steel just slug for in there. I wanted it to be a little bit more dynamic than that. I wanted to be able to open it up and be like, oh, well, there's something else in there. Now, this is not really for display. Again, this is just for weight, but you probably could display it if you wanted to. It's a little bit plain. Again, it's just for weight. It's nothing super fancy or anything like that. But yeah, so I guess I will start with the emitter. And I machined this emitter. This is the original one here on the right. And you can see from, that top black line on the one I machined up, it's exactly the same as the original Starkiller emitter. The only issue I had with this is because this was a static build. I was never going to have any NeoPixel connectors or LEDs in the base of the emitter that would help keep this stable. And because of the way that the set screws kind of thread in there, this thing had a tendency to want to rock back and forth in the emitter. And I wasn't really a fan of that. So I decided I was going to machine a new one. Now this does two things. It prevents the nipple from rocking back and forth, and it also adds weight, which is, again, nice for that static effect, that static feel. Now the second thing I did was I actually modified the hilt itself, and hold on, let me get this set screw out of there. It's kind of a pain to get the Allen key and the set screw. So let me grab a pointer. So you can see this line right here. And you can see the set screw kind of set right in the middle of that. Now there used to be a step there. What I did was I put this in the lathe and I took that down all the way to right there at the end of the Allen key. That way the pommel can sit all the way into the booster section and you won't have this gap right here, and it will be sturdy. You could probably wear this on your belt or wherever, and you don't have to worry about that the set screw slipping off of that ledge. Now I'm not sure why it was machined like that. I don't know if maybe it was a mistake in the programming, mistake somewhere in the numbers, or it was intentional to have a gap that big at the top of the pommel. I personally, I don't see a gap that big in the source photos of the actual prop, so I'm not really sure where that came from. But like I said, I just put this in the lathe and I took it down. I did leave that line still, so that if anybody did want that gap, you would have kind of a frame of reference of where to put the set screw. So the next thing I did is the main meat and potatoes of this is where all the weight comes from. Now, like I said, I didn't want to just machine a solid chunk of aluminum for inside. I want it to be a little bit more dynamic. You can see this is just one solid piece of aluminum, and I've dressed it up just a little bit. Nothing super fancy. But up top here, I machined these little brass rods just to give it kind of a dynamic effect. This is kind of loosely reminiscent of the, what was it? The old Rilo reveal sabers from back in the day. Those are like my all-time favorite kit. If they made those in a V2, I would have snagged one in a heartbeat. But they were just in the Hero version. Now, obviously, this is not as complicated as what the Rilo is, just because of the way this thing comes apart and everything. And again, I just wanted this primarily for weight. It wasn't really meant to be displayed, although you probably could. It doesn't look horrible as a display. So, you have that option if you so choose, but this is basically just just for weight. Now, you can take this entire chassis or weighted core. You can take the entire thing out with the 4 provided set screws that are under the clamp, and those came with the kit. That's nothing I added. That's just a stock feature of the kit. So yeah, let me assemble this. I think the only thing I have left to go over is the weathering. So I did all of the weathering myself. I used a very high quality 2K paint, so you're never going to have to worry about this thing, the paint chipping off of the aluminum or anything like that. The 2K paint bonds to the aluminum pretty well. And I did all of the dings in the emitter. I did the pommel damage. So I tried to get this thing as accurate as possible. Even the little chips in the grenade section, I used reference photos to try to get that to be as accurate as possible. So this thing is, it's. I tried to make it as accurate as I could. So I believe that's it. Now, if you are interested in buying this, I am going to post it up for sale on my Facebook and Instagram. If you don't have a Facebook or Instagram, I will provide my email in the description below, so you can contact me through that. I will put in the description when this is sold. But yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and may the force be with you.